All right, Ruthless Church, it's me, Pedro, and this morning I'm talking about caring. If you know me or you've been in a relationship with me or if you ever encounter me, you may hear me say the words, I do not care. And I want you to know that when I say I do not care, what I mean is I am not worried about the outcome. So, for example, sometimes I might be in a situation, maybe somebody says, oh, where do you want to go today? And I say, well, I really don't care. And what I mean is I don't care about the outcome. I mean, whatever happens, happens. That's just how it is. I try to be strategic when I use those words, but just in case you ever hear me say those words and you're unclear on what I mean, that's exactly what I mean. I came to that conclusion or started to define care in that way when I came to the realization that care, as often as we use it, has nothing to do with the things that is usually associated with, such as kindness and love. Care has nothing to do with kindness and love. Care is what we say when we want to control the outcome or influence the outcome. Here's an example. Someone tells you what they think you should do with your life. Then you say, well, I actually am interested in doing this other thing. And they'll say, well, I just care about you. The next time you hear that, I offer you the opportunity to translate that as I just care about the outcome. And most of the time when people care about the outcome, it's not about you in as much as it's about them. It's that they are trying to either control how they might feel if things don't succeed. Like, say you're trying to do a risky business venture, and they say, well, I just care. And pretty much they're saying, I just care about the outcome because if you don't succeed, I might have to take care of you. Or if you don't succeed, I'm going to be associated with a loser. Or whatever the case may be. So, people, generally speaking, when they say care, it usually is about the outcome, and it's usually more about them than it is about you. All that being said, it's my caveat to turn into what I really want to say is Jesus does not care what we think. There's actually a passage, and I'll put the verse down at the bottom in the written part of this blog, where some Pharisees try to trip Jesus up, and they start off by saying, hey, Master, we know that you speak the truth, and you don't care about one person, nor are you a respecter of people. And I love that. I love the idea that Jesus doesn't care what I think. Because if Jesus doesn't care what I think, when I encounter the Spirit of Christ, then I know that it's going to be for my betterment. It's not going to pussyfoot, excuse that word, around and try to tell me what I want to hear or anything like that. It's going to edify me and help me to be a better person. See, a lot of times when we talk to people and we care what they think, then when we talk to them, we are simultaneously caring how they perceive us. So if you talk to somebody and you care about how they perceive what you're saying, you're not going to be 100% honest. To the degree that you care what they think, that's the degree that you're going to alter your message in such a way that it reflects on you favorably. If you don't care what they think, but you actually love them, you're going to say or do or behave in a manner that is better for that person to help them unfold. And that's not going to always look pretty. Sometimes it's going to make you look like a jerk. Sometimes it's going to make you look like a loser. But because you don't care what that person thinks, but rather you love that person and you want that person or desire for that person to be in a better space for one reason or the other, then you're going to be real with them. So that is to say that Jesus doesn't care what we think. Because if Jesus cares what I think, then I think that Jesus is going to say things that make me say, oh, Jesus, you're so awesome. But I'm hoping that Jesus is above that ego crap. So at any rate, here are another few examples to let you know that Jesus doesn't care what you think. And I hope that you find some joy in it. One, there's the parable about the vine dresser. And if you ever read your Bible, which most of you Christians probably haven't, there's a story where these people are doing some work, and some people start in the morning, some people start in the middle of the day, some people start working at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, the vine dresser or the person who owns the vineyard, he pays everybody the same. And the people who got there early, they were like, man, what? I've been here all day, and I'm going to end up getting the same amount as this person who just got here. And then the vine dresser or the master of the vineyard or whatever, he said, I mean, what business is it of you what I do with my money? Didn't I give you what I said I was going to give you? It doesn't matter what I gave to the other person. You should just pay attention to yourself. Now, if he cared what they thought, he would say, oh, let me give them more because they're going to feel insecure, or they're going to feel sad because they didn't get as much money as the people who worked less part of the day. And I want them to think I'm a great guy, so I'm going to give them more. But he didn't, because he didn't care what they thought. Jesus is the same way. That's why he gave the parable. So if that makes you feel awkward, well, I'm glad, because I don't care what you think. Guess that. Guess what? Because if I care what you think, I'm not going to tell you the truth. A lot of us, we think we own Christ. We think we own Jesus, and we think that, Jesus would do what we do. But all the Bible's full of examples of him not doing anything near what we do. There's examples with him flipping over the money tables because he didn't like the way the church turned into a marketplace. How many of us are going to do that? And do you think he cared what those people thought when he flipped those money tables over? I think not. Okay? Here's another example. Going to the cross. You think his family wanted him to go to the cross? I don't think so. You think his mom was sad? Of course. You think his brothers thought he was the man that he said he was? No. Look in your Bible. You find out he didn't. So at any rate, but he still did what he had to do. And he went to that joint by himself, because every person who heard some of the crazy things he was saying, they started feeling like, I don't know about rolling with this dude. And they stepped. And the disciples that stayed around when it came time, besides Judas, whatever happened with him, but the rest of them, they dipped, except for John was there at the cross. But anyway, the point of the story is most of the people bounced, and Jesus still did what he had to do because he didn't care what people thought, but he loved them. So in love, I'm telling you that if you really love yourself and you love other people, try not to care so much what people think, because in the end, it's going to do them a disservice. You might look like a jerk sometimes. They might say, man, what kind of spiritual person are you? Believe me, I heard that plenty of times, and all sorts of things. But in the end, if you're doing it for love and for the betterment of that person, you won't mind how you look if the person who you love ends up coming to a better place. So with that being said, I love you, but I really don't care what you think.